Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 159. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I'm just fine. We're going to be talking about post apocalyptic gaming tonight, but of course, before we get into that, we're going to talk a little about our sponsors. And what better way to start than to talk about the post apocalyptic game of choice, at least for me, and I know Warmut out there, if he's watching, um, is going to be Fistful of Lead Wasteland Warriors. I've got the original copy somewhere handy. Let's collect your heroes. Oh, here we go. Wasteland Warriors. Now, they are coming out with an all color version. As you can see, that this is just black and white. Um, my understanding is that content wise, rules wise, there is no difference between the non colorized version and the colorized version, but it's colorized. It's got color photos, it's got uh, color, all your color, all your fun colored gigas, if you will. Um, it is not a standalone game. Keep that in mind. Wasteland Warriors is an expansion to the core rules. So you'll have to get the core rules to be able to use Wasteland Warriors. That being said, it's a great set of rules to play your post-apocalyptic Thundar the Barbarian or Mad Max or what have you. Um, Warmut is currently in the process of building an arena for post-apocalyptic Arena of Blood. That's going to be exciting. We've seen some pictures of it, and it looks pretty good so far. It's looking real nice. He's using sprues from plastic model kits, and that carpet or the carpet keep from sliding stuff. You put under your carpets or under your plates in the cabinet to keep them from sliding around. Um, Putting that up as the fencing. So uh, definitely, definitely looking cool. He is going to be doing uh, Wasteland Warrior combat, post-apocalyptic combat with using Arena of Blood. I think I remember Jay Wiley telling me that they are going to have a post-apocalyptic Arena of Blood expansion, whether it's a standalone book or it's just a PDF you can purchase and download. I'm not sure which, but uh, the gladiatorial Roman gladiatorial Arena of Blood is coming out mid-June. June 15th is when it is making its way to our doorsteps. So the other one to mention, of course, is uh, looking at geekgamingusa.com, where you'll find all of your uh, base ready materials on hand, and your post-apocalyptic base ready material of choice is the Grim Dark City Rubble. $8.25 plus postage gets you about 200 grams of this wonderful, wonderful wasteland rock. It looks really, really super. Um, Remember, that's over at geekgamingusa.com, and they can get you hooked up for all of your basing needs, whether it is your grimdark city rubble, your Mediterranean soil, which is one of my all-time favorites, whether it is the patchy plains or the scrublands, all of it great stuff. All of it great stuff. And if you give McMurray enough heads up, he can get you something special in there for you. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the folks out in Texture World are yammering about. Telemachus comes in early and says, I don't come with dice, so don't freaking play with me. Howdy, Telemachus. Thanks for coming in. Wise words always. Charles in the house. Coffee and Devil. There you go. Chris Long, eh? Hey-o. How you doing, Chris Long? He says, oh, man, I like tonight's topic. I'm glad you do. Hopefully we can live up to your expectations. I don't know if any of the rest of the guys are going to show up tonight or not, but I'm here, and y'all are there. That's enough for a show, right? So, Telemachus, the apocalypse. Time to settle some scores and then start over. There you go. I think it was Einstein. Albert Einstein says, "I can't tell you what weapons will be used to fight World War III, but I can tell you the weapons they'll be used to fight World War IV, and that's sticks and stones." Rather scary idea, all things considered. Hopefully he's not right, but Telemachus might be on something here. Sell some scores and start over. Nordic Maelstrom's in the house. Well, if it's the end of the world as we know it, to quote Bender, well, we're boned. Yeah, that's very much so. Walkabout, Chris Lang says, my favorite rule set of the apocalypse is this is not a test. Now, I have not heard about that particular game set before. I might have to do a little research on it and see what that's all about. If Chris Long likes it, that's good enough for me to at least check it out, right? Norg says, I'd like to get the Fallout Wasteland Warfare game. It looks like a lot of fun and does fit the Apocalypse vibe. It does fit the Apocalypse vibe. And I'm going to be completely honest. What drove this particular topic for the show is I started watching Fallout on Prime. And I've watched the first 3 episodes, and I got to say, I like it a lot. I got to say, I like it a lot more than I like Masters of the Air. I've only watched, I think, 3 episodes of Masters of the Air, and I stopped. A lot of it has to do with I can't get on with the characters. But on Masters of the Air, and yeah, I know they're real people. I get that. I understand that. But Band of Brothers was real people too, and at least for me, I immediately was engaged by those characters. I was drawn in, and I cared about them. And I don't want to say I don't care about the portrayals in Masters of the Air. It's just I'm not. I don't know. But that's a different show entirely. Fallout, man, it gets you right off the bat. I don't know about anybody else, but I was getting the same feeling as the Vault Dweller's brother got right off the bat. There was something not right about the Vault Dwellers of Vault 32. Yeah, there was just something not right, and how they did the intro. I'm not going to give any spoilers for those that have not watched it yet, but man, it's to me it felt like the beginning of the game. You know, you had the pre-war scene, then you had the catastrophe, then you're in the vault X number of years later, something happens, and boom, there's your quest. I I like it. I like it a lot. Three episodes in. I think there's 8 total. So yeah, I'm digging it. Everything looks right. Everything feels right about the show. I think somebody had mentioned that if you enjoy and are a fan of the Fallout franchise, the games, that you won't like the show, or it's not what it's not what you're looking for, or I don't know, something about if you like the 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 games, the show won't meet expectations or something. It's meeting all my expectations. The power armor, spot on, looks great. The vertibirds, oh man, it's to a T, man. Um, I like I said, I don't want to give away any spoilers. I There are some differences. There are some things that aren't what we're used to, but being that there are so many different vaults that we've only looked at what, four, maybe five. I think there's five different vaults that have been looked at in all of the series. Maybe a little more, maybe six or seven. So I mean, there's literally hundreds across the United States and probably into Canada also that we don't know, anything about. So, and even if after 8 episodes we get a conclusion of of this particular set of storylines, that doesn't keep us from going and doing it all over again with a completely different cast, set of cast, someone who's completely different as the Vault Dweller this time, on a completely different quest in a completely different part of the United States. I mean, it could it could conceivably, if they wanted to, they could have many, 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 many seasons of this show. Let's go ahead and get caught up here on the chatter here. Nangoya's in the house. Hi everyone. How you doing, Nangoya? I love their song "Night Swimming." There you go. Too long says Nangoya. Apparently, Telemachus is swearing at you, Nangoya. Are you going to take that? So who brought the pizza and garlic knots? It's the end of the world. I plan to go down with pizza and garlic knots one last time. Well, I did have pizza, and the reason why I do air quotes when I say pizza is because it was Totino's party pizza, little square things that reminds us of elementary school. I dig those, man. They're not good for you in any way, shape, or form. They don't taste the best, but man, sometimes you just got to go with it. Um, Telemachus had the stale bread. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Chris Long, I'd like to try the new Fallout game that's out soon. It looks faster paced than the current rules. If the if the it That's another thing I was gonna talk about, um, miniatures and the costs and whatnot. If the cost of those miniatures weren't so like GW crazy. I really, I already like them. I already wish I, had some, but man, they are pricey. Um, Hot dog and eggs because that's all I had. That's okay, Charles. Hot dog and eggs is not bad. It's not bad at all. Nordic says that's an odd combo, Chuck. You should have cooked the hot dog and cut it up and made an omelet out of the eggs. Ooh, hey, there you go. Thinking, Nordic. Egg and hot dog omelet. So he's sitting in my vault with my pizza. That sounds like a rap song. I don't know. What do I know from rap? I'm an old white guy. Let's see what else we got going on. Brought to you by Rice Aroni, the San Francisco treat. Mandarin Mike says, "Greetings, everyone. How you doing, Mike? Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming in." Hot dog went on to flour tortillas with beans, cheese, and lettuce. There you go. There you go. That's not too shabby. It was binary in another language. All right. I'm not quite sure how you have binary in another language, but definitely didn't look hexadecimal, but that's okay. Um, Nordstrom says, "Greetings, Mike. How goes it this evening? Remind me to stay upwind from you. Yes, definitely, definitely. More beans, Mister Taggart. I think you had about enough. Pizza sounds good, but I'm watching my carbs, trying to limit 50 grams a day. Dude, Mike, that honestly, that is hard to do. Now, are you talking actual total grams or are you talking net grams? Because I know you can offset grams by eating uh, uh, high fiber content, which is still carbs, but and I don't know the mathematics of nutrition. I just know that there's a difference between true carbs and net carbs. And man, if you're going for 50 grams true carbs, that's tough. That is not an easy process to do, my friend. Um, be right back. Got to go get the door. Yes, Nordic, it is almost an impossible task. It's very difficult, but I've lost about 12 pounds so far. Outstanding. Well, I found those 12 and added another one in the last 3 months. I gained 13 pounds, but all of my other numbers are right where the doctor has been expecting them to be. So I don't know. Apparently the stuff I'm eating isn't causing my blood sugar or my blood pressure or my other numbers to go up. So John Weiss says foam core. I think he was referring to what Warmut has been using. Nordic Maelstrom, what do you eat, Mike? And here's Nguyen cussing at Telemachus in a binary in a different language. Telemachus, well, I never. Yeah, well, neither will I. Mike says chicken or beef burgers, but using keto-friendly buns and bread, lots of veggies and cheese. I think V8 juice. I drink V8 juice, hard-boiled eggs with hot sauce, things like that. I mean, no, it's not hard to not eat carbs, but God, carbs just taste so good. Oh, but especially when you're talking tortillas and tamales and enchiladas. I was in South Texas this past weekend. Went down, uh, took the wife to was with my best friend Chris Copeland. Uh, our Donna's and my oldest or youngest son, and then my brother and his family all went down and met up with my stepbrother to go to my stepmom's, my stepbrother's mom's funeral or memorial service or celebration of life or whatever it's called these days. And got to spend some time with Dad, and we all went down to San Antonio, walked through the Alamo. Hadn't been there in over a decade. They're doing some really cool stuff with it there. So if you've been to the Alamo, um, they're making some changes there. They're putting representations of what the original walls and gates looked like. Um, it out where they actually were located. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Miguel, that's what she told me. Hey, y'all keep Scott Gremlin, how you doing, buddy? Hey all. Me mini chocolate chip cookies for dinner. Well, there's a lot of carbs right there, my friend. Nordic, I thought you were eating the hot dog omelet, Chuck. I think that might have been for lunch. Does anyone know where I can get plastic model kit from an Apollo class protected cruiser? I want to paint up HMCS Rainbow. That's a good question. That would be a question for Chris Long. Yeah, that was brunch. See, there you go. Let's see. Chris, I'm here, so the show is ready to go. Yes, Nordic, we're good to go. I really liked the Gamma World Legion of Gold module. Gamma World was a good game also. Okie dokie. Ow. My microphone just hit me in the head, or I hit my head onto my microphone. That was fun. Hey, Warmite, how you doing, buddy? Glad you could make it. I've I watched just the first episode of Fallout and was hooked by the end of the first one. Yeah, guy. I mean, they did drop all at once, and I watched the first one with Donna last night, and I said, "Well, you want to watch the next one? Sure, why not?" And we finished that one, and it's 9:45, and past her bedtime, honestly, because she's normally a pumpkin by 9:30 or so. And I said, "You want to watch the next one?" She said, "Well, it's up to you." It's like, "Well, I don't want to watch it if you got to go to sleep." She said, "No, no, no, let's watch it." So we watched the first three episodes last night. Really, really good. I will forewarn you, there are some very graphic scenes with the fighting. Um, so yeah, just so as you know. This is not a test, is a heavy book. A toolkit style rule set can make most types of apocalypse games. Now, see, I like toolkit type of rules, and that's why I like Fistful of Lead. To me, it's very much a toolkit style game. So yeah, definitely gonna have to take a look at that. I watched Hollow Show and I thought it wasn't bad despite some glaring political agendas from Amazon. I didn't hate it. I didn't feel it was great. It was just a decent show for me. I I must be colorblind to political agendas because half the time I don't catch them. So not saying hey let's talk about them or let's point them out to me. I'm just saying I don't I don't see them other than how it's portrayed in the games. I guess maybe because that's maybe why things were or how things are portrayed uh, in the games. It's so just wait till the last episode, Chris. Just wait, you will be surprised. I'm sure I am because that's the way all of the Fallout games are. There is a twist. You think you're going for something and you're doing something, and then irk. So yeah, I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping for it. John Weiss, is Wasteland Warriors similar to Arena of Blood? No, John. Wasteland Warriors is a uh, it's a module, if you will. I don't want to use that. It's because there's no scenario. Well, there are some scenarios in it, but it is a way to take Fistful of Lead, which is your basic crew versus crew game, and uh, slap the post-apocalyptic genre on top of it. So, Arena of Blood is one versus one gladiatorial combat, whether it's in ancient Rome, like the book is written for, or it is um, Thunderdome style, two men enter, one man leaves, that we got Warmut going for. It says Arena of Blood is a separate game from the Fistful of Lion games. Yes, exactly, Warmut. It's a completely different game. Um, yes, it is card activated, but it's not card activated in the same way exactly. So, um, I'm a big fan of the Fallout games, and I felt the show was pretty damn good, but it was some issues from the lore point of view, and Amazon's political agendas, but not enough to ruin the show. Fair enough. Fair enough. More Warmut says John Wise, it's a supplement to the core rules. Wasteland Warriors like Mad Max, post-apocalyptic, the best genre of tabletop game ever. And there's Warmut's take on that. Fallout is great. Like I say, it's not like it's Dune, where the only thing the movie makers know about the books are what they gleaned from skimming a Google translated Korean wiki page. Now, to be fair, I did like the first Dune uh, movie. Well, I liked the first Dune movie. Rewatching it is actually a little rough now, with 40 years later, with different glasses, so to speak. Um, but no, I liked I liked the most recent by Denis Villeneuve. I liked it a lot. I did. No, it's not the same as the book. I don't. The only way you're ever going to be able to get a visual representation of Dune, um, which could be considered post-apocalyptic. I mean, it is in the year 2191, so I'm sure there has been several apocalypses that have befallen mankind. Well, there's even one referenced in the Dune story, the Butlerian Jihad. So, you know, and that's another one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight is, you know, what do you view is your, what does your post-apocalypse look like? Um, you know, is it a nuclear wasteland? Is it a zombie infested uh, landscape? Um, is your post-apocalypse um, to the level of you're past all of that, now you're the reemergence of a third or fourth human golden age, with seeking knowledge and information in the stars, a la Star Trek. Um, there's so many different ways of portraying a post-apocalyptic world. And I think that's interesting that there are so many different people having so many different views of what is considered post-apocalyptic. To me, Blade Runner could almost be considered post-apocalyptic. It is an apocalypse, a downfall of uh, oh, which I'm looking for, of just the human the human society that we have now, that it's you know we have to, because of the creations we have made, we have to hunt them down when they go rogue, to get rid of them, and hence the Blade Runners. Let's see what else, Scal. Totinos are my guilty pleasure. They're objectively terrible by any measure, and I don't care. Exactly, Scala. Exactly what I was saying. Uh, Chris Long is back. Mutt, wag. I'm in the chat tonight because the grand boys have been nonstop screaming and crying. Welcome to my world. Hey, you decided you wanted to have those guys when you decided to have a daughter. I'm just saying. That was your choice, my friend. Which could be your post-apocalyptic world. In regards to net carbs, I do not net out sugar alcohols because they still spike my blood sugar. And for fiber, I only let fiber net out no more than half the carbs of an item. There you go. Okay. Thanks, Mike. Carbs are the enemy. No, carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are the ally that will have zero qualms stabbing you in the back, though. Because you got to have carbs. Carbs equal energy. But they will kick you in the ass when you're not looking. Scala says carbs have always been the enemy. No. Nice. Right. Very good, Scala. It's 1984. There's another post-apocalyptic look with 1984. When we eat animals, we get protein. When they eat us, all they get are carbs. Not exactly, but we'll run with it. Nordic guys like to go to the Alamo at least once. Also would like to go to Tombstone. Now, the thing to remember with the Alamo is it is in downtown San Antonio, the 7th largest city in the nation. So be prepared when you go to the Alamo. It does not look like what you envision when you watch the Alamo, either the 2002, 2003 version with Billy Bob Thornton and Dennis Quaid, or the slightly less realistic, not saying that the Alamo with Dennis Quaid is realistic in any way, shape, or form. It kind of is, but kind of isn't. Or the less realistic version by John Wayne. That was all filmed on a full-size set created out in South Texas at a town called Bracketville. And it's still out there. You can go out there and walk around and look at it if you want. It looks like a very post-apocalyptic landscape out in South Texas because it's scrub brush desert. It's the Chihuahuan scrub brush. But the real Alamo, the Alamo that is sacred to Texans, all true Texans, is in literally downtown San Antonio, surrounded by tall buildings. So, lots of veggies, fish in my diet. Now, I like fish. Problem is, the wife is allergic to fish, so I don't get fish that often. Unfortunately, I like fish. I like crab. I like shrimp. So yeah, I could do that, but you know. Not sure. Thinking. Oh, referring to the ship. So either you assaulted the microphone or the microphone assaulted you. Right now, we'll say I assaulted the microphone. In another 15 minutes, the microphone has assaulted me and has always assaulted me. There you go. I'm on part 5, says Chris Long. All right. Finished part 8 2 evenings ago. I would have probably been a lot farther along if I, hadn't had this road trip that I didn't want to go on. So, on episode 6, Okay, he said he'll be on in 15 minutes or so. That was about 12 minutes. So we'll get him on here soon enough. That's Reese. Dude, I want that gun from the ghoul. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Toolkit games are great. I had some one-to-one scale stuff to do. No worries, man. I get it. I got one-to-one stuff to do this weekend. This is the only weekend this month that I'm not driving at least 3 hours to go, know, go celebrate somebody's life. I don't want to make it sound like that. Big Murray, sir, how are you?
I am well. Sorry for being late.
That's okay.
Reese, you are done with your one-to-one stuff. Get the fuck in here.
Yeah,
Anyhow, how is post-apocalyptic gaming?
we've been talking about. I've just been going through the texture, and we've been interjecting back and forth and talking about carbs and how they're the enemy and have always been the enemy. And
Did you say
um,
carbs?
yeah, carbs, which has
Oh,
nothing to do with post-apocalyptic gaming. But me and Mike is on the super low carb diet, and we're just been talking about it as one does.
carbs aren't the
Um,
enemy. Carbs are fucking wonderful. It's what
exactly.
potatoes are made out of.
And see, and these are things that I have also said. Um, Carbs are not the enemy, but they are that ally that will stab you in the back if they get a hankering to.
Yeah.
Hence diabetes. Um, but now the reason why I don't know if you saw, but Mutt isn't in the chat tonight because the boys are screaming and crying and being little hellions. And I told him
Well,
that was
yep.
his choice. It was his choice when he decided to have a daughter. So there you go.
It'll happen.
But he says when I build or paint minis, I listen to the Fallout radio. It's a loop. It don't matter to me. It has all the hosts from all the Fallout games too. What? Where is that? Just something on YouTube or where do you find Fallout Radio, Mutt? Let me know, man.
I
Because
know
I
there's
like.
been remember when the Fallout games first came out and there was a radio in them? Just like
Yeah.
with like Grand Theft Auto and shit.
Right.
There
Yeah.
used to be people who would make, you know, full videos on YouTube that were the entire, every song that plays on the radio. That would then be, varying lengths of YouTube videos based on, the proliferation of music in the games. But um, I feel like Fallout Radio. Is there a Fallout Radio on Pandora too?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
That
know.
or I'm just thinking of Fallout Boy. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Norick says as long as Preston isn't running a show, that guy is a real bore. Honestly, don't care for the Minutemen faction. Yeah, in Fallout 4, yeah, and yeah. Hex Encounter forever. Well, Hexy, are there any post-apocalyptic Hex Encounter games? That you're my Hex Encounter go-to guy. Yeah, McMurray plays Hex Encounter some, and so does Chad. But
It's hard to
Hexy,
beat Jeffrey for the width of Hex Encounter knowledge. There's a reason he was on the
so,
Chucky's committee last year.
yeah.
Uh,
So looking forward to second edition. This is not a test. Black Site Studios is helping bring it out. There you go.
there you go. They've done a lot of like kind of near post-apocalyptic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're red sands or black sands or something, whatever it was. They did a whole thing. Needless to say.
Hexy says, "I thought marriage was the fall of mankind." Well, I'm if that's the case, I'm in a post-apocalyptic scenario now, and honestly, for me, it's great.
So you gain your freedom, Jeffy. But
Well, the real party can begin now. Hexy is in the house. No, the real party can start now because we got McMurray in the house.
ouch, yeah, no
Hey,
shit, Nord. God damn, that was rough. I
yeah,
felt that
most
one
fun.
deep down in my soul.
Charles says my
Yep.
apocalyptic life began after my
It's all right,
divorce. I'm still
Charles.
mentally wandering the wastelands. I it, dude, it's tough. It's tough. I got lucky. Um, my divorce happened in May. I met Donna in August. We're engaged by February, and we're married the following August. So, and that was 24 years ago. So I got lucky.
Question.
Uh, yes.
When gaming post-apocalyptic scenarios, do people find it hard to, personally, whether it's post-apocalyptic, like future post-apocalyptic, or even if it's a historical post-apocalypse, right? So, like, I've heard people argue that a good chunk of, the lore and story and whatnot of War of the Worlds is post-apocalyptic, right? Like that's a distinct field that obviously wasn't super duper around then,
Yeah.
but was still a thing. Was a
Yeah.
pretty strong theme there when he's just kind of wandering the ruins and destruction of Britain, trying to survive, and trying to piece together, maybe my family's alive, maybe the whole fucking country is destroyed. Um, Stuff like that, stuff like The Road, which is outstanding reading. If anybody has not read The Road, not Jack Kerouac's On the Road, but The Road. They made a movie out of it with Aragorn. I have not seen that, but the book is outstanding. Um, it seems like there's a lot of post-apocalyptic gaming that is, or a lot of post-apocalyptic, fiction writing, literature that is,
Yeah.
one man against the world, or, real small, like one or two. Like I remember in trying to game Mad Max, we ran into, multiple times the issue of, okay, we kind of gotta write, unless you're doing the big stuff, right? So, like the end of Fury Road or the end of Thunder Road, stuff like that. The vast majority of
Right.
Mad Max is like one guy fighting, 10 guys. It almost feels more RPG like, which we wargamers can then kind of lose track of sometimes. Anybody who's been watching this for very long knows that I adore War of the Worlds. The issue is, especially the initial, the quote canon of War of the Worlds being H.G. Wells' book, is exceptionally hard to wargame. Like,
Yeah.
it's incredibly well written. It's insanely well written, and it's really compelling. There certainly is conflict, war, what have you going on, but good lord, is that hard to game, right? Because for the most part, it's one guy. Sometimes there's the artilleryman. Sometimes there's the whatever the British word for like vicar or something, or minor clergyman is.
Sure.
But that's certainly something that's tough, right? And even if you move into stuff like The Road, where there certainly is a little bit of conflict, certainly more than there is, on an individual basis in War of the Worlds, it's still, okay, here's three guys fighting this guy, or this guy and a boy. But, yeah, this would be a good one to have. It would be really cool to get the one and only Mr. Mollison's impression on this. He's got one of the books that he's written that I own and I greatly enjoyed was, I can't think of the name of it, and I'm going to butcher it if I feel like an asshole. But Joy of Wargaming, as most of you guys know, is a semi-accomplished author. I have a couple of his books. One that's about, I think it's called 3 Dragons or 5 Dragons. I can't remember the number. Let's see here. It is Wretched Son by John Mollison.
So
And
no dragons.
not in this one, but it is about a young man, and it's got a kind of Mad Max feel. Well, here, I'm just going to read the back. The back says, the hum of rubber against hot, dangerous roads, the white dotted line between life and death, a young boy's fight to chart a route to manhood. Outstanding. Again, good book. John writes really, really well. Oh, God. Chris, remind me to send a picture of the bookmark I have in this book at some point. But good gravy. The good part about it is it certainly has that, and this has got a little more wargaming potential. The book about the book 5 dragons or 3 dragons or X number of dragons certainly has more, because that's a lot of it's more classical adventure, high fantasy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I
Now,
don't know.
here's a thought for you. So the plague, the Black Death happened in
Yep.
what
The 1300s.
the 1300s.
Yep.
So technically, any type of scenario that puts you gaming in the 1400s could be considered post-apocalyptic.
I mean, maybe I put up a strong argument that if you want a post-apocalyptic feeling, it's going to be hard during the Black Death because some villages were entirely wiped out, but you're almost playing the part, depending on what you're doing. If you're wandering around, you're almost playing the part of an alien in War of the Worlds, where you just got to kind of steal as much shit as you can before you just die.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of where you're at. Because just because the people die doesn't mean that the bubonic plague leaves a village or a region. Because the rats are still there, the fleas are still on the rats, and there you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
So kind of, that was something that I was just pondering though, like something like if you're see everything I'm thinking of here, like, oh well, you're fighting over scraps in Dresden. Okay, that's still your one guy, right? I don't know. I think post-apocalyptic, I think what we're going to wind up running into here is stuff like when we were trying to define a tank.
Exactly.
And we were running into the issue that, oh, wait, tanks are different depending on what your perspective is, right? Like most people would say that tank has to have a turret. Well, the Swedes certainly wouldn't. They put out an entire main battle tank of their own that was an entire mainline battle tank that didn't have a turret. And there's lots of instances of turreted vehicles that certainly are not tanks, that are not designed to function as tanks, but might cosmetically look like tanks. And I think that's what we're going to run into, kind of like our Super Dreadnought stuff and our, where we're going to find things, because it depends on where you're at. I think defining post-apocalyptic might be difficult. Then again, I think if we spend most of the time trying to define what exactly post-apocalyptic is, we're just going to miss more shit than we really intend to and need to. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to think of post-apocalyptic gaming that I have done. And I'm coming up kind of blank. Would you guys consider Warhammer 40K post-apocalyptic? I kind of wouldn't.
Well, and this is something I'd said previously before you hopped on, is Dune could be considered post-apocalypse.
I mean, that's the thing, right?
I
guess you can make a strict interpretation where if there's been an apocalyptic event, literally everything that happens after that is post-apocalyptic.
Right, because you could also argue at that point in time that Star Trek is post-apocalypse.
Yeah, that's my point. You probably could, but that seems like a more semantic argument than an argument in the faith of, post-apocalyptic settings and genres, right?
Yeah.
Because yes, technically it is. Um, you could argue that living in Hiroshima nowadays is post-apocalyptic, but I feel like most people, even in Hiroshima, would look at you like you're a fucking mongoloid.
Right. But if it was, 1946.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, if you're in Hiroshima in September of '45, there's probably a very reasonable. Well, your face stops glowing. Wait, I'm missing something.
What?
I don't know. Anyhow, I got derailed. My bad, guys.
That's okay. Scallon says a way to gamify a mini apocalypse might be something like Victorian gang warfare in the shadow of a cholera outbreak. That could be interesting. Battlestar Galactica is post-apocalyptic. In that universe, absolutely it is. Take care, John. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. And then Nordic also asks, anyone play the Traveler RPG? I have not played it. However, I know quite a few people that have played and run games. And it's not for lack of wanting to. It's just been a lack of not ever, not ever having it be available to me when I'm able to, if that makes sense. You but yeah, it's your classic post-apocalyptic tropes though are it's a wasteland. There, something cataclysmic happened to cause a scarcity of resources, or a scarcity of resources as we knew them, and we have to find our way uh, with new resources. Perfect example in Fallout. Gold and copper and silver means next to nothing compared to bottle caps because bottle caps are just they're scarce. Reese, how you doing, buddy? Glad you can make it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool. Obviously, voice gone.
That's okay. Nordic, I have I've got a Mars and a Mars 3 4K. In original Traveler, you could die during character generation. And then apparently you can die in character generation mode. It's extremely difficult to happen unless you play hardcore mode. At least in Mongoose Second Edition. So what about you, Reese? What have you ever done post-apocalyptic gaming?
I have not. I mean, no.
I mean, 1969 way.
That's pretty much the end of the world for Way City, right?
Yeah.
1968 was definitely the end of the world.
Is it something that
have I done the 1918 battle at Armageddon? Yes, but that was Turks and Brits and Aussies and Kiwis. So
Is it even something that's even ever crossed your plate as something that you'd want to do?
I think it'd be a hoot. I mean, I have Wasteland Warriors.
Yeah,
I mean, I do crazy things with dinosaurs and historical eras, and so I'd be fine with it.
yeah,
Um, but I've been so focused on historicals for so long, I just haven't. So,
sure. No, I get that. I get that.
um, but yeah, it'd be fun.
What? So it's been brought up a couple of different ways to consider uh, post-apocalyptic. Is of course you've got the classic Mad Max style post-apocalypse.
Mhm.
You've got uh, there's a multitude of other zombie you know type of things. What do you envision? Oh, I brought up a couple that might not immediately come to mind, but to some extent, Blade Runner could be considered post-apocalyptic, um, just because it's a future. To me, it's a future with a period in time where uh, the social norms that we have now are different for some technological reason.
For the same reason, you could say Star Wars after Order 66
Yeah,
is post apocalyptic for
hmm
them.
exactly.
So, in in that logic, I have. So, because I've done Star Wars gaming post Order 66.
Everybody's done Star Wars gaming post Order 66. The only Star Wars that's fucking interesting. Other than which is badass.
Well, I'm going to work on 54 millimeter Star Wars between episodes 3 and 4 in the Legends canon, not Disney canon.
I like muzzle loading cannon.
That too.
Um,
I like those screw breeches.
Speaking
Preferably on forward boats.
I found a new scenario I want to game. The 1892 capture and or killing of Ned Christie. One guy and two teenagers with rifles in a fortified log cabin versus 80 guys with rifles and a cannon.
That seems like it should be far more one sided than it probably was.
It should have been, but the log cabin was fortified with each wall was 2 layers of logs held together with 2x4s, insulated with 6 inches of sand between them.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, he had a fort. So
So, um, have you what generated my interest in the topic of this show tonight was I started watching Fallout on Prime. Um, have, of course, you probably haven't because you don't watch a whole lot of TV.
I'm about as current as 2011 Justified. I think that's about as current as I am. So,
Good Lord, my
and
man.
don't spoil it for me because I'm still on season 1.
It's like uh, spoiling the big twist in Empire Strikes Back.
Wait, there's a twist in Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, yes, no, wait, no. Um,
Sorry.
Excuse me.
bless you. But no, I started watching it, and like I was telling these guys, I I love the Fallout game series. for the most part. Fallout 76 could
I
have
have
been done so much better.
I have
Um,
post-apocalyptic gamed. That
Fallout,
Fallout game
yeah,
from
um,
J3.
yeah. Fallout 4 is my favorite. Uh, you don't need a curing station, Nord, but it's highly suggested. Walter Goggins was in Justified. Also, he is so versatile. Walton Goggins uh, is the uh, is the ghoul in Fallout.
He's a pretty great actor.
Walton
Yeah,
Goggins is in Fallout.
Hmm.
yeah.
That's kind of funny. He's an entertaining dude.
Oh, he is. He's a hoot.
He does a great job in the Fallout series so far.
Todd's a big fan of that guy.
Yeah. Um, so it's it's I like I said, the show has really got me. Oh, this is going to get me back to my point. Another point I wanted to mention the game. And now that I've got McMurray and Reese here, it'll be a little bit better on the back and forth. So I, the show has got me wanting to play in the Wasteland world, or in the not just Wasteland world, but the Fallout world specifically, with the Vault Dweller and the Brotherhood of Steel and all of that. Um, but the price of the miniatures is kind of ridiculous. It's Games Workshop level pricing, um, and to that end, does anybody have the same feeling when they walk into a game store looking at miniatures and saying, man, I'm glad I got a 3D printer? Because the cost of miniatures, just in general, has is gone crazy, I think.
Yeah, I mean that would be the question: is somebody like that? Seems like the sort of thing that what's his name would jump all over.
Cuffy from yeah, Skullforge.
Skullforge.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it seems like I'm surprised he doesn't already have Fallout miniatures out. But yeah, that really seems like he definitely has out.
On the way back from Kansas City yesterday, uh, we stopped off at Valhalla Games in Columbia.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's a nice store. It's got a lot of great stuff in it. But there was nothing there that just, oh, I got to have this.
They used to have a really, really good Flames of War selection, including a big old discount section, which was pretty cool.
Not so much on the discounts. I think they're keeping their product line a little trimmer, their inventory a little trimmer than what they might have had in the past. So
if I was smart, we could have made a fair amount of money out of Valhalla's Gate with their old Battlefront stuff, but
yeah,
I painted it and based it and everything because that's where I got that Beach Assault Company and shit. Not even a year ago. We did that unboxing on Mini Warmike's channel, and somebody wound up commenting those things you're selling for like $200 something bucks now, and I was like, ooh, I paid 42.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, it's just, I think, if I can't find an STL good enough for what I'm looking for? Am I willing to pay X number of dollars to get a particular model? And I'll be honest, I'm hard pressed right now to say yes. Now, that being said, I've got a just a plethora of different uh, projects going right now. So I can easily say, "Ooh, yeah, that's too much. I don't need to spend money on that right now." Um, you know, because I'm cranking these things out like nobody's business with my printer, right? Um, I've got a mound of airplanes that
I'll be right
probably,
back.
all right, got a mound of airplanes here that I need to get to spraying on, but it's been so, well, I've been out of town for a week, and then also it's been windy as all get out up here for the last, I don't know, forever. And it's hard to spray prime when it's blowing 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. And then before that, it was cold as dog balls on the Iditarod. you know, so Nord, if you could find STLs for those Fallout characters, you absolutely could shrink them down to 15 millimeter. Now the question is how spindly they are. It's going from bigger to smaller. You're dealing with the issue of um, how, like, for instance, this guy right here. He is ostensibly a 28 millimeter figure, and if I shrink him down, how you know how sturdy are his legs going to be? That's the real question. And then, of course, expanding upwards. Now this isn't an STL. This is a Battlefront figure. You know, expanding him up. What's going to happen? You know, when he when I make him bigger, is he going to look all chubby and fat? So there are some issues with scaling, but in most cases, you don't have to worry about it too much. Um, let's see. There's not Jay. You've been losing weight just a tad under 400. Hope you put on some good gaming goodness. Smart, quick. Am I having a stroke, or does that not make sense?
Subscribers.
Oh, oh, yeah. I'm at 399. Um,
That's okay. I get comments about my weight gained over on my channel because they see me on the stream.
no, actually, like I said earlier, um, at a year ago, I was probably about 195. I am now about 223. So I've gained almost 30 pounds in the last 12 months. But I was also told by my brother that when I was sitting at 190, 195, somewhere along in there, I looked really frail. Um, and that I look more like me now than I did before. So maybe if I can keep myself right between 1 or 215, 220 is where I want to be. Let's see. Nori says I could create a second YouTube account and sub to be 400, but my service is not free. Nice. Nagoya wants to know your YouTube channel or your OnlyFans?
Nordic's got
Either.
it both.
Either, you know.
Girls go
Yeah,
crazy
both.
with the dad bod.
Both. Yeah. Hey, gotta love the dad bod, right? Turkeys after dark. Did I tell you about the first time I went turkey hunting?
Mm-mm.
Got up early, got all dressed up, got out there, lined up my shot, fired, boom, got the turkey. Scared the shit out of the little old lady in the freezer aisle at Walmart.
That's good.
I had to move to the living room because the internet in my room went garbage. That's okay, Charles. Well done, Mary Mike, your brain. There you go. Yeah. Oh, John Weiss is back. In 2014, I was 210, did Weight Watchers and lost weight pretty quickly. Once I stopped being diligent, I put some of the weight back. I'm currently at 176. Depending on how tall you are, that could be good or that could be bad. See, I used to be 6'3". I'm now 6'2". The pain of spinal compression, right?
And I'm not tall, but I'm not short either.
No, I mean you're
about 6 foot.
Yeah, you're right at 6. Yeah, I've much in common with the weight of a German soldier in 1918, and I'm 6 foot tall. See, I graduated high school in 1989. I was 18, almost 19 years old. Literally, I was going to be 19 in less than a week at that point. And I weighed 150 pounds at 6'3". I went to the Army. Even with lying on my back for a week in the hospital, I gained 175. I gained 25 pounds and came out at 175. A little more muscular, not as muscular as I probably would have been if I hadn't hurt myself. And then I was sub 200 well into my late 20s. I did peak at 285. And that's when I found out I was diabetic. And I was like a German submarine being followed by a Flower class corvette with a crash dive on the on my weight. I went from 285 down to about 225 in about 6 months. I lost 60 pounds in about 6 months.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I went from drinking essentially a 6-pack of Coke every day to not.
Well, yeah, cutting out 800 calories a day is a pretty good way to lose a bunch of fucking weight.
Exactly. And started doing walking. And,
turkeys.
Yeah.
Sausage.
You're breaking up there, McMurray. Might have to disconnect and reconnect. You were going all robot-y. Yeah, Nord, it was I stopped drinking full-blown Coca-Cola. Scal says, I'm 6'3" and the shortest in my family. When we graduated high school, I had a 28-inch waist. My brother had a 26-inch bicep. He once held up the front end of my mustache while I changed the tire. Oh, Mustang. While I changed the tire. Jesus Christ.
I believe it.
Thundar the Barbarian much? Great in high school in wrestling as it was based on weight, so it was like Spider-Man versus the Dwarves. Oh,
I can relate there.
once I started getting kidney stones right before the pandemic, I gave up all sugary drinks and now just drink Diet Sprite, Diet Ginger Ale, and water.
Well,
And he's back.
I went from walking 10 miles a day to driving a couple 100 miles a day, and that'll do it.
Yeah, yeah. Butt in seat does not help.
But yeah, man. Turkey was pecking the fuck out of that fence, man. It was like, you're an idiot. I even yelled, you're an idiot at it a couple times. It eventually got going with all of its turkey buddies wandering down the fence, but it was interesting. It was like, I've seen you dumb fucks fly. Not good, not for far, but you could get over that fence.
I got a special tool new that would have helped you.
A tool that would have helped me?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a 10-gallon bucket or some sort of giant oversized lacrosse stick for hurling turkeys?
No, it looks like a shepherd's hook.
Oh, thought you were going to say it looks like a shotgun. It sounds like a shotgun. And I was like,
No.
yeah, that would help.
No, we had guys who were experts with them.
With a shotgun?
No, that too, but with a turkey stick.
Nord, you are, by all means, invited to come hang out in North St. Louis and fight turkeys with me, dude. Not Reggie, though. That turkey would kick the shit out of us.
Oh, yeah. Reggie will take on a platoon of SWAT team members, and every one of them would be coming out with missing limbs.
So, like, again, I'm pretty sure that turkey drinks gasoline and eats cigarette butts every morning to start his day. So we're just going to leave that be.
Did the word of my new shotgun already make the stream?
No, I didn't know. I don't talk about that. Okay. But this one time, I did watch
Skeleton says, God damn it, now I need to open up Blender and start modeling up some turkey lacrosse models for the most redneck Blood Bowl game ever.
Doug, if that's the sort of thing you can do on your computer, yeah, we got to talk.
Scala, after you do that, send them to me.
I did 100% watch Reggie win a stare down with a crackhead one time, though. That was cool.
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to win a stare down when you're twitching.
Well, not only that, but do turkeys even have, like, eyelids?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The tickler.
Yeah, man. The turkler.
the turkler. Oh. And this is how all the shows go. We stay on topic. When there is a topic, we stay on that topic real well for about an hour.
Well, I mean, you guys were talking about carbs for the first 35 minutes, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. That being said, in the vein of gaming with large birds, I am sitting here staring at this. I think it's a 2-inch by 3-inch baggie of 2D6 Wargaming RIPs, Emu War figures.
We need to do Emu War.
Well, so I printed out. So the issue is, I have still to find a place that makes an STL of an emu that's remotely printable at, well, honestly, they're 28 or 15 mil. These are 6s, and I think I have 120 emus.
Most people don't really know what an emu looks like.
Well, I understand that, but I know what an emu looks like, and it'll bug the shit out of me. Also, we're doing it upright for Polly, so it's got to be correct.
Right, exactly. I tell you another large flightless bird that scares the piss out of me is a cassowary.
Fair. I knew
basically a velociraptor with feathers.
I knew a few gentlemen on the internet who managed to convince a bunch of people in backyard chicken raising groups before that was like the new thing to do during COVID, that you could keep cassowaries in your backyard. You cannot
Oh,
keep cassowaries in
Jesus.
your backyard. They are the devil. But we convinced a lot of people that you could keep cassowaries in your backyard.
I mean, think about it. The cassowary is just an emu. Is basically a flared up emu.
Well, yeah, that you gave like a bunch of steroids to, and then had him work out with Mike Metzner, also known as using meth as pre-workout.
Yeah.
So, like, kind of, but also, what the shit. But yeah, so I think there's 6 or 120 emus in this thing, and then I've got 2 Lewis machine gun teams. Although they look more like Vickers, like World War One era Vickers teams, but it's also 6 mil, so who gives a shit? Maybe I'll get on. You know who I bet has something that would stand in quite well for these nice little Australians? I bet you Heroics and Ross does. And if it's Heroics and Ross, I can buy 1 or 2 Lewis machine gunners and 1 truck with a Lewis machine gun mounted on it instead of a whole platoon of them. Because I've already got Desert World War One in 2mm. I don't need it in 6mm as well. I guess I have it in 28 also. Yeah, so a 3rd scale of Desert World War One guys is probably not what I need. That being said, if anybody ever wants to teach me how to play If the Lord Spares Us, that'd be super cool. So if Nick Skinner or Ken Riley happens to be watching right now, that's Fat Nick from the Two Fat Lardies or Ken from the Yorkshire Wargamer. Yeah, holler.
What is that game?
It is a large-scale, semi-abstracted World War One in the Middle East game by Two Fat Lardies from back in the day. It's one of their first games that they put out.
I'm interested.
So a base of 2 guys is like a company, maybe, or something. I have the rules. I don't know that I have them printed. To be honest with you. Oh, that's what it was. I had a bunch of 2mm. And so I was going to base those up in, obviously they're multi-based to a large extent. And so I was going to use those as, they're either companies or platoons. I don't remember. But yeah.
I'm going to get a drink.
That's what I was just doing. But yeah, it's either Lord's Own scale or Yorkshire Wargamer. There's a pretty good discussion between Nick Skinner and Ken. That's also Nick Skinner, Two Fat Lardies Nick Skinner, not Nick Skinner, British Legion Nick Skinner. But yes, because apparently that is a ridiculously common name in the UK. But yeah.
Nord says he's got the perfect name for the game of Emu versus Australian Army. The Emu Geddon.
There you go. There you go. That would be pretty cool. Let's hop on Heroics and Ross and see if I can order like 88 cents worth of stuff from them. I don't even know if it'll be that much. It would probably be that much, but I'll get more Lewis gunners than I'll need. We'll open up Heroics and Ross, and we'll open up Irregular. All right. But anyhow, Reese, what are you painting up, buddy? What are you working on right now? He's going to get a drink. Chris, what are you painting up right now? What are you working on for? Are you working on anything for May the 4th?
No, May the 4th, I'm just going to show up and enjoy myself. Because Jay Wiley's got all the games figured out.
It is true.
No, I am going to be, if it ever stops blowing like all get out, I'm going to get to spray painting these guys.
There you go.
And getting them taken care of. I need to figure out which squadron I want to decal them as. So I can get the decals for them, and then of course I gotta get the matte aluminum paint for my Mustangs.
Did you say matte aluminum?
Yeah.
That shit was polished, homie.
Yeah, but you start with a matte so you can actually lay down paint on top of it and then gloss coat over them.
Yep. 3 Lewis Gunners is 75 British cents, whatever the hell that is.
Polished aluminum.
What's that?
I do aluminum. I do a matte coat. Do my decal. No, I do matte. I do aluminum. I do a gloss coat. I do my decal. Do a matte coat. And I call it done, or gloss coat, depending on what the top is.
Yeah. Nordic. These are. I've got them printed as 1/300 scale. They started off at 1/144th, and I've downsized them. And they turned out pretty stellar, I think.
McMurray.
Yo.
I'm going to flash you. Get ready.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I seen it.
Nice.
I seen it on the Discord.
I know I sent it to you. I just want to show it to you.
It's a wonderful day.
1912 date of manufacture.
Nice.
So.
Outstanding.
Well, that just means I can't do what I wanted to do with her, but I'm still going to have fun with her.
It's okay. It happens. I got you. All right. So we got Major something Meredith. He's a British / wealth guy, so he's got quite literally like 5 names. And then this is what Paul used to give me shit for. Commanding Gunner J. O'Halloran and Sergeant S. McMurray.
Nice.
Who each had a Lewis gun. So yes, I quite literally need 2 guys with Lewis guns and an officer. And then eventually a truck that has a Lewis gun mounted on it.
Outstanding. Yeah. So I need to get painting on those. I also need to get finish up my maneuver cards for all of them. I'm thinking 2 to 3 planes per player. And yeah, hopefully have something good enough to go by J3 in June and have everything good to go by Battles and Brews.
Hell yeah. Holy shit. Apparently
got it, man. What? Go ahead.
Apparently no way. The comic minds of such individuals as John Cleese, Rob Schneider, and Jim Jeffries are in the process of creating an action comedy movie retelling the Emu War that's set to begin production in 2024.
What?
I'm excited.
You're putting me on. You're
Nope,
putting me on.
dead serious. Let's see here. What are the British and U.S. comedy legends bring bizarre chapter from Australian history to big screen? 7 News Australia. And Australia's Evil War. John Cleese outrun and race to shoot movie of how flightless birds thwarted army's machine guns from The Guardian.
That's too funny.
That's two sources. Hot damn.
Check the date of the article.
2021 or 2022 and 2023.
Okay. Make sure it wasn't April 1st.
Yeah, no, I'm jacked up excited.
I got fooled the other day like that.
That'll happen. Let's see here. But yeah, anyhow. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, I do not suggest driving from Kansas City to essentially San Marcos, Texas, all in one go anymore.
Yeah, I think we talked a week or so ago about how that was a pretty wild accomplishment to try and get after.
The thing was,
You're old now?
no. I love him to death. He is literally like another brother. But Chris Copeland takes forever to do anything.
To drive or?
Well, not the driving itself. I mean, he was going speed limit, but when we stopped, each stop was easily 20 minutes.
Oh dang.
Yeah. So it took us what on the Maps app says is 10 and a half, 11 hour drive. Took 16. Now, to be fair, we did stop twice for meals, and we were caught up in some very stop and go traffic just before the Texas-Oklahoma border.
Still sounds brutal. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. It was. But we had a good time. Got to go see the Alamo. Got to go down to the Riverwalk. Got to eat some kick-ass Mexican food. Had some pretty good barbecue. So, reason we were there sucked, but all in all, it was a pretty good time.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
So,
Did you when you were at the Alamo? Did you have a moment? Did you do the pass out and faint thing like people do at the Mona Lisa? Or
no, it's because I've been there, literally dozens of times.
I get that, but still.
But what is cool is they are in the process of recreating some of the key positions in the outer wall defenses.
Oh yeah.
They're recreating the palisades that Davy Crockett and his volunteers fought at. The log.
The only thing that survived was the church, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But they've found the original foundation for the walls. And they did that back in the 80s. But what they're doing now is they're actually going in and where the palisades were, they've recreated that with, granted it's made out of cement, but the log palisades with a cannon replica sitting that direction. They're recreating the main gate along the south wall. They've created the gun position that uh, fired out towards downtown San Antonio, at the time downtown San Antonio, where Santa Ana was located, and Travis had them fire a shot at the Mexicans when they received the letter saying, "Hey, we want you to surrender." And Travis said, "Yeah, that's not going to happen. Fire one round back at them as our response." It's pretty cool. Now they can't do the north wall at all, because that would be basically in the middle of the post office there. So, but yeah, it's looking pretty cool. I'm excited about it. Um, uh, Normally, if they're out of stock, it's because responding to Nordic here, says, does Elik ever bring their printers back into stock, or once they're gone, they've sold out? Normally, if a printer is sold out, it's because it's being replaced by a newer model. So, yeah, I don't see them having any more Elegoo 3 4Ks that aren't the Pro model available anytime soon.
I mean, the Pro model is just one that's got
Air
a
filtration.
filter on it, so it's kind of one of those, yeah. But
No. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. My dad is flying up here at the end of May, so he can go to Joey's promotion from 8th grade to 9th grade. Gesundheit.
thank you.
And Caroline's graduation from high school.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's flying up the Wednesday before and not flying back until the following Monday. So get to spend some more time with him then. And then Donna and I are going to be driving up to our lake cabin up in Minnesota in August to spend some time with him up there. So,
yeah, because you're going to try and see LBW Steve, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to. I want to take a trip over to Fargo, because they've got the Scandinavian, or I think it's specifically the Norwegian cultural center up there, and they've got a replica Viking longboat set up inside there. So that'd be kind of cool.
Nice. There's a pretty cool set of replica boats of Lewis and Clark's. So, hang on. I can't remember the name of the park, but it's like the Lewis and Clark Boathouse or something in St. Charles here, just over on the other side of the Missouri. And
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. They got, I think there's two. they're kind of hard to see because of how they're set up in there. Maybe that was just maybe part of it wasn't open when I went or something. But it's pretty cool. I mean, I've had a hankering to do more early American wargaming. Well, I'd say early American / early colonial wargaming.
Right.
Like I've been painting up all these 15 millimeter French and Indian War, and kind of want to do some stuff like that. Whether it's that or there wasn't a whole lot of straight up conflict on the Lewis and Clark expedition, but could probably eke out a couple good Fistful of Lead games. Yeah, and then there's all kinds of stuff in between, whether it's King Philip's War or anything like that, or some of the early conflicts around Jamestown. Because Jamestown was established in 1607 or 9?
Yeah, somewhere along in there.
I believe it's 7. But then by 1622, the Pamunkey chief that had originally signed, a bunch of land and peace and trading agreements with the British settlers. He had passed away, and then his kid had passed away, so it passed to the nephew or the kid's nephew or something. We decided, fuck this, we're going to kill all of them. And they're on to killing like 300 and something out of 1,200 settlers. That would be an entertaining conflict. Just because it's real early and you don't see that sort of thing. It's almost, War of Spanish Succession / pre English Civil War stuff, which is, again, not super necessarily rare to see in the U.S. with people playing English Civil War stuff, much less that time period and technology set in the U.S. at the time. But you could always do a what if Roanoke, stuff like that.
Sure.
Pretty funny. Pretty cool. Who knows? Finally get Graham Hancock to shut up. I'm just kidding. I don't know if he equates Jamestown to aliens, but I'm sure as soon as
say Roanoke was aliens.
I'm sure. Excuse me. As soon as Graham Hancock reads about Roanoke, it'll be Egyptians went over there and colluded with the aliens and everybody else, and some ultra advanced civilization
I thought it was going to
eat up the Roanoke settlers.
I thought it was going to be a meteorite strike.
Who knows? I just always really enjoy, like, what's that British dude's name? He was just some random guy from the 90s. Shit. But he's like this general contractor, which is hilarious because he looks like a general contractor from the 90s.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And using ridiculously simple machines and things like mechanical advantage. He quite easily single-handedly is moving like 1 and 2 ton stone blocks. Like, oh, look, it's not aliens. You've just never stepped out of a fucking classroom or a room that isn't just choked with fucking smoke to actually try and move something other than just picking it up or pushing it. Good job, dumb fuck. Excuse me. I apologize. Idiot. Uninformed individual. My bad.
Simple machines are simple for a reason.
Yeah, levers and, inclined planes, whether they're in the ground or anywhere else, are pretty wild, my dude. Kind of like people showing how you can, it takes a while, granted, but at the same time, you got all the time in the world. How you can cut through granite with wood and sand, because the silica and the sand is hard enough to start cutting using the wood as a not adhesive surface, but a bearing surface, then all of a sudden you can start getting those cuts through granite. And same thing you can do with smaller, with either smaller stones or, again, wood fixings, and start drilling holes and stuff. It's like, oh, look at this. Huh. What do you know? Now it's bugging me. I'm not to find the guy's name. Ultimately, everyone here knows that the most important British inventor of the 20th century is Philip K. Ludi, but that's not the point. I said British, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. But anyhow, let's see. What was that guy's name? There he is. Yeah, it was posted. In this video I'm watching was posted in 2014 by an IBEW union page. What? IBEW Local 424 is the page. Huh.
International Brotherhood of Electric Workers.
Yeah. Correct. It's just wild that Wally Wallington is the guy's name.
All right.
Wally Wallington. He's wearing New Balances and some worn out khaki pants. And there he is, buddy. Wally Wallington.
Nice.
Just rolling around, having fun, showing people how you could do this.
Scala Gremlin says, how you know Mexicans are the hardest working people on the planet.
Yeah,
They
dude,
built
nobody
pyramids
questions that
too.
they built the pyramids, man.
Yeah. Well,
Everybody else
the other
really
thing is, the other thing with pyramids, because they're found literally all over the world, right?
Yeah, as it turns out, stacking shit is pretty basic.
Yeah, it turns out that making a pile of rocks ends up looking like that because that's how you do it.
The other cool thing is that, and this is something that not a lot of people like fully understand, is how old, especially the Egyptian pyramids are. And by especially, I mean like only the Egyptian pyramids, right? Because most of the pyramids built in Mesoamerica and North America are all, within the last 1,000 years. Most of the large pyramids of the Aztecs and stuff are within the last 600 or 700 years, not, 4,000 to 6,000.
Right.
We right now, Cleopatra lived closer to us talking on this show than she did to the building of the Great Pyramids.
Yep.
That's pretty wild. That's a good way to put things in perspective. By the time Julius Caesar saw the Great Pyramids,
they were already like 3,000 years old.
Correct. Julius Caesar taking a leak at the bottom of the Great Pyramids. If I went and took a leak at the bottom of the Great Pyramids, I will be, chronologically closer than the dude who took a leak at the bottom of the Great Pyramids the last day that they were working on the Great Pyramids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Now all of a sudden I realized making fun of stoner speak a while back, and here I am talking about taking a leak at the Great Pyramids. But even so.
I mean, you can also take a leak into the Rhine.
Well, we've talked about that many times. But yeah.
Pull a patent.
That being said, as soon as we're done, everybody should actually go watch Wally Wallington essentially show everybody how to build the pyramids. And honestly, most of it is probably can be credited directly to the fact that he is wearing New Balances. Like, I feel like he could also, cut the Garden of Eden wearing these New Balances.
Yeah.
and probably
yeah.
make it improved, because anytime you cut grass wearing New Balances, it automatically is anywhere between 10 to 300% better. But
And those New Balances, those are the white leather ones, right?
white and blue, baby,
Yeah, there you
classic.
go. There you go.
Is there any other kind?
Not worth mentioning.
Yeah,
Kind of like Porsche automobiles. After the King Tiger, it's kind of just one of those. No, nothing of note. Thanks though.
I don't know. The mid '80s or the early '80s 911 Turbo is pretty sweet.
King Tiger. It's an absolutely it's a miserable tank, and about the worst thing you can really do for a wartime economy. But King Tiger. Well, the worst thing you do for a wartime economy, other than start a fight with the U.S. and the British. But yeah,
There is that.
all right. So the exact model that we're looking for here. See, the issue is they're always different. And it used to be the 990. But I feel like it's not the 990 anymore.
What are you talking about?
New Balance old man shoes. Because I had a pair of 990s when I first moved into this house that were passed down to me. And they were the greatest of all lawn cutting shoes. And now my lawn looks not as good. And I haven't had those shoes in probably 7 years. And now I realize why.
So you're saying when I get my own place, I need a pair of those?
Yeah, dude. New Balances are the shit.
Well,
I wish I was kidding. But, I mean, if you don't, okay, I take it back. If you don't know what shoes I'm talking about, as soon as you see these shoes, you will know these shoes. And it's not the 990. That's just not right. I think it's the 9060. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, all that matters is getting there and having a good time and getting after it. But you get my point. They are the ultimate. That's what Wally Wallington is wearing. And that's why he's able to, get after it.
they're the ultimate dad shoes.
They are the ultimate dad shoes. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Brian probably has a pair of these things.
Put a pair of knee-high white socks on and some
Oh,
khaki shoes.
he's got them.
Dude, yeah.
I think you're talking about
a good pair of jorts. Yeah, dog. Yeah, dog. That's 100% the way to get it done. What's up?
I think so. The classic, to me, all leather New Balance, all white. Oh, I'm actually on New Balance's website.
Yeah, I was doing that too. Like most things, they've moved past it. I'm sure it's something they do every few years. Because they're certainly still around.
So here. Let's see. Scarlet Gremlin. Yeah, my dad said Americans think 100 years is a long time, and Europeans think 100 miles is a long way. True facts. Mike, growing up, I always preferred the aesthetic of the Tiger 1 over the Tiger 2. So the Tiger 2 had the more rounded turret,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
The Tiger II had the more oblong turret and the sloped front armor and the 128 millimeter gun instead of the 8 millimeter or 88.
Yeah.
Yes.
Desert area in Africa was once a lush savanna, and through desertification turned into a desert. So what wonders were lost to the desert sands? Yeah,
Atlantis.
pretty much. I actually have an Anycubic curing station, but that was because I got it for a fucking song, and two, it's before Elegoo came out with their curing station, like a month.
I actually have one of each of them. Because
They do the exact same thing.
Well, I wound up having trouble with the little guy who spun the little spinny thing for washing.
Yeah.
Wound up having real trouble. Like it'd go for maybe 3 seconds, then get stuck.
Huh.
It still rotates just fine to to whatchamacallit for
to cure.
Yeah. But for the washing it wasn't able to do it, which was kind of disappointing. But I mean, what are you gonna do, right? So I wound up grabbing another one, and now I just have one that's set up to wash, one that's set up to clean.
Oh, there you go.
That's not too bad, man. It's not too bad.
Yeah. If I do get a Saturn, though, I'm gonna have to get a bigger curing station.
I have a Saturn S.
No, I'm looking at the new Saturn 4.
Oh, okay.
Because its build plate is massive and it is fast.
Sure.
218 millimeters by 122 millimeters, basically 8 by 5.5.
Huh.
And it can do up to 150 millimeter V speed per hour.
Yep. Outstanding.
And it's only $399.
Nice.
So, Mike says, I wonder if YouTube blocked my last comment about forging due to ellipses. ...
What's up?
Apparently, YouTube blocked a comment he had.
Oh.
Because YouTube's a bunch of jerks. Tiger 1 had the rounded turret, he says.
It had the circular turret.
Yeah, it was circular with a little on the back, but I'm talking about.
That being said, the front profile was slanted, and it had the cupola that was rounded off on it.
Yeah.
You're correct. It was more circular.
I'm sad I missed Mike's comment that got blocked.
Right?
What'd you say?
I'm sad I missed the comment that got blocked.
Yeah, we all did, I think, unfortunately, which kind of sucks, but I'm sure he'll catch us up.
Well, I've been trying to do all the disassembly and cleaning off camera so we don't get a strike for showing how to disassemble a firearm.
Yeah, you should not do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, sorry about the frog.
That's okay.
So,
you have a frog?
No, Mike. It if you're saying something it didn't come across, if you want to drop it into Messenger to me, I can relay it to the rest of the guys. So, well, we are coming up towards the end of the 2 hours. Thank you to McMurray and Reese for dropping by.
Absolutely.
I know Reese had some one-to-one stuff he said was going on. All right, let's see what Mr. Mike said. Okay. And I'm going to I'm going to change some words here because this is why it got blocked, and I don't want to get axed for this. When the indentured servant's um, outer organ boils at 1 cubit away from the forge, then it's hot enough to smelt the iron. So there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely got blocked. um, yeah, the Mars 3 is a good one. I've got I've got a Mars 3 4K, which I really like, but the Mars 3 is gonna be
I think the Mars 3 or the Mars 3 and the Mars 3 4K, I believe, are the same thing. I don't know if they made a Mars 3 that wasn't 4K. Or at least I couldn't find one. Like I couldn't find a 2K Mars 3 or anything. I'm sure they probably make an 8K, but I couldn't find anything lower than 4K resolution.
Yeah. It's a good little printer. I've enjoyed mine quite a bit. It's what I've been printing all of these guys on. So
I want to say that is one of the nice things about miniature wargaming when you're a painter. Also, like we printed so many tiny things that came out so nicely on not even, I don't know, is it 1080p or some shit? I don't know. Printers. Like, think about all those first Gookek ships we were printing that were on, like, your Mars and my, like, any cubic photon that still came out just wonderfully, right? Like, I have all those 1 to 900 scale, or what are they, 1 to 1500 scale? I think I'm 1 to 1500 scale aircraft that they were 1 to 18 because I just have the Gookek files, and the Gookek files are 1/900. Like I printed out all those and they came out wonderfully. Stuff like that. It just, yeah. Again, just overall quite contented with 3D printing as a whole.
Yeah.
That being said, if I'm doing 28s, I still kind of prefer old metal figures, or older style metal figures, not necessarily old. But you guys have heard me go down the rabbit hole of explaining that more times than I think any of us would like to count.
You're good. I can't do anything but listen.
They're nice to paint, man. It's nice to paint. It's nice when models are designed from the ground up as miniatures, not as models and then shrunk into miniatures. You can really tell the difference, and it's a pretty good contrast sometimes. What's always entertaining is every now and then, especially on Thingiverse, where people post, their free miniatures, which are usually their first ones of the test models or something like that. Sometimes you'll get some people who are quite good at, like, they're professional 3D modelers, right? Like Mr. Big Tong, he's got, a couple thousand files on Thingiverse, and most of them are one-offs of then, several figure packs that he's got on his Patreon. Every now and then, and I actually don't know that I've seen it with him, but with some other folks, you'll see where they posted a sample figure and forgot to size it appropriately, so it's fucking huge.
Like my scale or bigger?
No, like you gotta have it display at like 10% for it to be the appropriate size, or you set the height of the figure to 32 millimeters or 28, 9 or whatever, depending on if it's a bald-headed miniature or what. And yeah, 10 to 5, percent size, and it's, oh shit, you guys were sculpting this thing colossal. But yeah, that's when stuff like the edges of shirts into pants and whatnot, you get the actual true shrink, and it doesn't work. It's brutal to paint.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for the night. I hope everybody enjoyed the topic. Like I said, if you've not had a chance to watch Fallout and you've got Amazon Prime, give it a shot. Like I said, especially if you like the video games, I think you'll enjoy the show. Is it exactly the same? No, but it's got the right feel, and everything looks right. All of the characters, the characterization of the Vault Dwellers, the characterization of the Brotherhood of Steel, everything looks right. So anyway, guys, y'all take care. We will got a show coming up next Wednesday. No idea what the topic's going to be. Who knows? I do know what it won't be, and that is Reaching Field stripping one of his weapons on the live stream.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. No, as long as we're not seeing it directly on the camera, it's all okay, because I'm sure we'll have ATF and FBI knocking on somebody's door.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So
I got a 4473 on file for this one, so we're good.
Okay, we're all happy. So, all right, guys. Again, thanks so much, everybody. And until next time, we will see you on the flip side.
Later, guys.